Hello, everyone. Coming up here on the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. Coming up, Will Ospreay, former international champion, takes on Buddy Matthews, former AEW 6 Trios champion, in a one-on-one match between these high flyers for who's going to be leaping in bounds tonight. Also, too, what's going on right here? Jeff Jarrett and MJF. Something's going on. Jarrett and MJF. I don't know what to say, but Jarrett and MJF, what kind of proposal MJF trying to do to Jeff Jarrett and what Jeff Jarrett's smirking about? We'll talk about that. Also, too, coming up here, the final boss, The Rock, did help NXT tonight, almost with 1 million views of his presence. We'll get to that number as well. We get the Pro Wrestling Show started here on the AEW report, and it starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Pro Wrestling Show, presents the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, 50 Bridges. Glad you joined us here on the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. So, in the conversation, use my hashtag Pro Wrestling Show here on Connect and our digital platform. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so we get things started and get things cracking. So, let's not waste no time whatsoever. And let's get the Pro Wrestling Show started right here, right now. All right, we're going to kick things off with this. What a show we kick off. Lashley was in action. Bobby Lashley applying the hurt lock to a jobber or something. Bobby Lashley could be next in line for a shot at something. One thing about Lashley won, and Lashley with MVP in his corner. Lashley could be a future AEW champion down the road. We'll see how this is going to play out for Lashley. But Lashley looks impressive. They might go for the tag team title. But we saw that Private Party was trying to do an invitational. I think that's next in line. Private Party might defend their titles against Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and they might become champions real quick off the expense of Private Party. We can see that being that way and see how that's going to go. So, Lashley, look out, Private Party. They're coming for you. They're coming for you real bad. I can tell you that right now. Well, we got a new number one contender for the World Championship. His name is Powerhouse Hobbs. Hobbs went through the gauntlet and won the gauntlet tonight. Powerhouse Hobbs doing some wonders. I can tell you that about Powerhouse Hobbs. Getting to win the gauntlet. To be honest with you, that's the money match. Hopefully AEW will invest Hobbs versus Lashley. That's a money match right there. That's a match that they can do in one of their big shows like Double or Nothing or All In. So hopefully we'll see. But Hobbs talking to Moxley's wife, Renee Young, saying he wants to be the world champion. Why would AEW put her in a position of her being interviewed by the man that's in a match? They couldn't get any other interviewer. Yes, not. But Hobbs saying he wants some world gold. I can see Hobbs being a future world champion. What happened with Ricky Starks and everybody else? Just I don't know what went down. But Hobbs, I can see that. War by Warlow and now the rest of them. So I can see Hobbs being a world champion someday in AEW with the work ethic he has. I can see that being that way. And Hobbs versus versus Lashley for the world championship down the road. I think it'll be a passing of the torch for Lashley to win the world title and give it to Hobbs, and Hobbs go from there, and Hobbs wins the world championship. Who can see that? Well, we go to this. MJF comes out of nowhere, and MJF tells Jeff Jarrett that, hey, you have 1 year left in your contract. You just recently resigned for a contract. You got 1 year left. This is your last year as a wrestler. So 2025 or 2026 be Jeff Jarrett's last year as a wrestler. And MJF saying he wants to help Jeff Jarrett get to the level of being world champion. Now, I think MJF would have talked to Jeff Jarrett of the WCW days and the TNA days that maybe he would have been on something. But Jeff Jarrett wants to be honorable and wants to do it on his own. Jeff Jarrett, former WCW slash NWA champion, knows a thing or two being a world champion. But Jeff Jarrett wants to go for the AEW title, and who knows, Jeff Jarrett could possibly go for it. Jeff Jarrett was in Clarksville, Tennessee, outside the suburbs of Nashville, going I think west of Nashville. So Jeff Jarrett knows a thing or two. I got a cousin that lives out on Clarksville, him and his family and stuff. But Jeff Jarrett saying he wants to do it his way, and he ain't gonna. He wants to win it on his own, and that's respectable. MJF down in that. MJF think that Jeff Jarrett is trying to play coy on what's going on. Who knows with this situation, this scenario, but it's sort of like, can we see that being a possibility? Jeff Jarrett and MJF, two of the most despicable men of the planet, but Jeff Jarrett changed his new look, his attitude, his different approach. So Jeff Jarrett thinking differently. So I can see Jeff Jarrett doing it on his own, but who knows with Jeff Jarrett? Sometimes Jeff Jarrett can play core too and want to go for the world championship. Who knows? So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that. Also, too, women's world champion Mariah May was confronted by got her name, but these two blondes will meet on this Saturday Collision one on one. This will be a non-time match. It'll probably be a Braun Panthers match when you think about it. Who knows? But them two want to tear each other down, and we'll see. But Harley something against Harley. So Brian May going against Harley this week, and we'll see that match protesting this week between the two and how this gonna go. I'm surprised he brought a boyfriend up there. No. Also, too, we see John Moxley going after Cope, who better known as Edge. I like to call him Edge. John Moxley and Cope, or Edge, I like to call him, went to each other. They're gonna have a match at Revolution probably for the World Championship. That's gonna help save it because I thought Shane McMahon would have been the great power of revealing all this stuff. What John Moxley was talking about riddles, but really didn't fester and manifested itself. So we can see that being that way, coping them against each other. Well, the House of Black, Buddy Murphy took on Will Ospreay in the match. Will Ospreay won the match tonight over Buddy Murphy. Will Ospreay said he respects Buddy Murphy. Will Ospreay put Buddy Murphy over tonight, what he did. But Will Ospreay getting himself together, and I think Will Ospreay, like I said, you didn't see the last of Will Ospreay. We'll tell you a little bit later why Will Ospreay aided Kenny Omega a little bit later in the show. But we talk about this. We talk about Cope and what's his name? Chris Stanley was in action. Chris Stanley received a no one contender match against Mercedes Moné. Once again, they're gonna feud one more time against Will Engel. Host the other. These three women were battling out, trying to get the pin. You see Chris Stanley get the win. Chris Stanley earns herself another number one contendership match against Mercedes Moné for the championship. And that might happen at Revolution this time. Chris Stanley trying to prove herself again, get herself back over to where she was once before. Well, we told you that earlier tonight. We told you that we went down. Cope came out there and tried to attack John Moxley. Well, we told you that, but these two will meet until Powerhouse Hobbs came out there to make the save. Powerhouse Hobbs looking to get his hands on John Moxley next week for their special Maximum Carnage. So for the World Championship match, we'll see that match next week. Could Powerhouse Hobbs become the second African American man to win the AEW Championship over Moxley? We'll see coming up. Well, we got the return of former AEW champion Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega returning since over a year, as he has detectitis, something that he had to get surgery out of his intestines to clear it out and cleanse it.
because he said himself that the doctors told him that if he didn't get out, he would have likely had passed away. But Ken Omega, so smart, got it out and clears and saying he didn't know what the future might have hold for him, but he sees the bright day and bright now. And one day, my Ken Omega ain't wasting no time, and Ken Omega even got saved by Will Ospreay. Omega will be back in the ring. He'll take on Brian Cage next week, 1-on-1. Ken Omega make his in-ring return next week. And some fan put this Ken Omega to cure my depression. Okay, that's good. And Ken Omega getting the stance from Will Ospreay. Will Ospreay, Ken Omega don't see eye to eye, but there must be a mutual respect between the two. So Ken Omega getting what he said. But I'm say about Omega, Ken Omega on what's going on. So good for Ken Omega helping Aiden with Osprey. All right, that ends the AEW Dynamite Ring Report. We move over to Wrestling Hot Topics. On Wrestling Hot Topics, they're still talking about this. Hulk Hogan being booed on Raw, receiving negative reactions and stuff. I think just because he aligned himself with current President-elect Trump, who's going to be in office nearly in a week and a half, Hulk Hogan receiving the backlash. He said Hulk Hogan took a back and was stunned. Hulk Hogan didn't realize it was going to be that deep. He knew he was going to get booed a little bit, but he didn't know. But like I said, they're going to try to turn that, play that being Hollywood Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan may not be on Netflix coming up. Due to the nature of what went down, so speaking, and just went left and went right. So Hulk Hogan receiving the backlash on what went down. We can remember backlash when Hulk Hogan went against Triple H and Hulk Hogan won the WWE title away from Triple H again. You know, we said we saw that, and Hulk Hogan receiving the backlash, and a lot of fans are being negative. I guess Hogan did to himself. So we'll see on how this is gonna go. Speaking of that, Vanessa Hudgens, Disney star of High School Musical, she's been a avid wrestling fan. Vanessa Hudgens, um, she was on the premiere of Raw, and even was at a house show recently. That hot girl love professional wrestling. Vanessa Hudson, you never know. She probably do a spot, a celebrity spot in it, and we'll see. But main event Jay Uso now the cover boy of Saturday Night Main Event coming up later this month. So main event Jay Uso will be on Saturday Night Main Event. He'll probably have a feature. They should make him world champion sooner rather than later. I can see that. Well, speaking of that, main event Jay Uso's cousin, The Rock, helped NXT from 6,000 views up to almost close to 1,000,000 views. The Rock helped the number and helped the margin get up there. And The Rock boosted up the numbers. That's one thing they know. He is the final boss and the great one. The Rock did his thing and did it well to help solidify himself on AEW, not on NXT. Didn't know the great one, The Rock, appeared on there. And final boss, he was the final boss of the night, and he was that being the final boss. But The Rock was, and The Rock really did that promo, and really wasn't nothing. But The Rock just wanted to come out there. He got some interior motives, knowing The Rock. He didn't do that for nothing. He did that for something. Being The Rock and being the people's champ for The Rock, making NXT higher than what it was, over 1,000,000 views. So good for The Rock. All right. That's going to do it here for the Pro Wrestling Show. Presented AEW Dynamite Ring Report. We're going to leave you with the confrontation between Ken Omega receiving help from Will Ospreay. Ospreay saying he didn't do this for Omega. He did this to help Omega. So Omega getting the help that he deserved and stuff. So For me being Kendrick Dix saying so long. Thank you for watching the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Dynamite. We'll see you this Friday for the SmackDown report.